Oh, what's up, Game Weepers? Analyst Jizz back at it, and after watching Doublelift and that pro guides out again, I reckon you're keen as mustard to watch some AD carry gameplay. And that's exactly what's happening here, guys. So we're going to be analyzing a game of Rekkles, one of the best ADCs in the world, drop 31 kills in high elo. Now, it's hard enough to drop just 10 kills as a marksman in this meta. 20 kills is a bomb of a game. 31 kills? That's insane. So how does Rekkles do it? Is it because he has tats? Is it because he gets lucky? Well, maybe, but it's really because he knows exactly how to lane and how to play the champions he plays at a high level. So in this video, guys, you will learn how to ADC like a god, and even if you play mid lane or top lane or whatever, you are going to find the next 10 minutes useful as. Now, something else that's useful as is the Game Weep website. So before we get into the meat of this upload, guys, check out our site for the best exclusive league content on the web. Challenger tier videos made by the best to help you be the best. Links, as always, in the description and comment section. Now, the first big tip I can give you guys, that sounded a little weird, is in this bot lane is to try to hit level 2 first, which goes, it goes for any lane. But bot lane in particular, guys, because there is two of you, as you can see Rekkles and Galio going ham here, because there's two of you with level 2, this makes it doubly bad for the enemy team if a fight breaks out. So right here, when Galio concentrates his cooldowns and damage on the Thresh, it is your job as an AD carry to follow up with that damage and target the same champion. This is going to concentrate all of that damage you two have onto just one target. So even though this might look like a 2v2, really it's just a 2v1. You are piling all your damage onto Thresh here. Even though Rekkles, flashing here is a little greedy and he ends up dying as a result, but getting to level 2, guys, these opportunities do not present themselves, and way too many players as well, when they hit level 2 are back in Narnia, they're AFK, they're playing the lane as if they're still level 1. Lots of games, guys, and you're even seeing it here in Challenger and EU West, lots of games are decided by the first few levels, and you have to put some emphasis and a bit of attention into these levels and how you're playing the waves. Now, when Rekkles comes back to this bot lane, guys, if you're in your games and you come back to your lane and the enemy champion is still in lane and they're not full HP, so if we look here, Kai'Sa is on like 300 HP, this is where you can really pressure them and punish them for actually being greedy and staying on the map, because Kai'Sa, honestly, probably should have recalled knowing Rekkles was coming back to lane full HP. By pushing this wave, it gives him a chance of, first of all, pressuring the Kai'Sa under a tower if she wants to stay in CS, and also gets Rekkles back in the game, because Kai'Sa, as you can see, there's at least one minion wave here that she's going to miss, and because Morgana is bot side as well, it kind of like adds to that pressure that he has onto the Kai'Sa here. So whenever you come back to your lane, guys, and you see the enemy champion on like half HP or, just less HP than you, look to put the pressure on them. And even if I bring up the scoreboard here, you can see that Rekkles actually had an item advantage. So he had boots and a dagger over just a Doran's blade, which is what Kai'Sa had beforehand. So don't just think because you've died and you've come back to lane a little late, maybe you have to lay on your back and just accept defeat. Put the pressure back on the enemy champion by pushing the wave into them, looking to damage them. Now, I also just want to point out Rekkles' general positioning here, guys, during these waves when Thresh has all of his abilities here. You can see how Rekkles is standing inside the minion wave or just behind his minions. He's never really moving to the side in open air, if you will, yeah? This is why so many players in lower elos, and I've coached some real shockers even in Plat and Diamond, who legit stand in the open asking Thresh to hook them. And it's like, bro, are you alright? Like, the Thresh has a hook. He's gonna hook you. And they die. So always play these lanes, guys, when you have a barrier in front of you. So a minion, if you have your allied champion standing in front of you as well who can tank that hook, that's also a good idea as well. But you never want to be getting hooked for free or anything like that. Now again here, guys, I'm going to show you the power of playing with your support and concentrating your damage. So when Galio Hex flashes over here and he taunts the Thresh, which is very nice, he ignites. This ignite right here from Galio is pretty much telling Rekkles, hey bro, I want to kill this Thresh and Thresh only because, Kai'Sa's so far away. So in these situations, guys, in your games, when your support goes on one of the enemy champions, it might be the support or AD carry, look to deal your damage to that champion. You don't want to be dishing out to the ADC, then the support, then back to the ADC. It's just inefficient. You want to be dealing as much damage as you have. Let's say you have 500 damage to put out. You want to be giving 500 of that damage to one target, because that's going to increase your chance of getting a kill, winning the lane, and just creating advantages generally. This is why Rekkles just goes ham on the Thresh, ends up picking up the kill, and Kai'Sa doesn't have the damage to retaliate and actually get a kill out of it herself. Now, yes, you might say to me playing Kalista is different to playing a champion like maybe Caitlyn or maybe Jinx or Vayne or Kog'Maw. Every ADC is different, don't get me wrong, but this tip, guys, is just about concentrating your damage and synergizing your damage with your support and their CC is very, very important. It's something that separates the best AD carries in the world to everyone else. Now we're going to see the same situation here, guys. So as Rekkles comes back to lane here, you can see if I press the tab, in terms of items, Kalista is actually a little bit stronger in terms of gold spend than Kai'Sa. You can also see how Kai'Sa is half HP. Rekkles is full HP, full mana. He has an advantage in terms of his HP and resources, if you will. So when you come back to a lane, guys, and again, the enemy champion doesn't have the resources you have in terms of health and mana, this is where you can put pressure onto them. Because by pushing the lane and actually looking to damage them, you are going to force them to recall. What happens when they recall? They miss out on minion waves, players, they miss out on gold and XP, and you can create a lead and actually come back into a game just by doing this one simple thing. And again, because Kai'Sa overextends, even Shen picks up on that and he comes in and they end up killing Kai'Sa. And what does Rekkles do as a result? Well, you could say he might be able to freeze this wave, but again, one of the most consistent, reliable ways of extending that lead, guys, when you kill an enemy champion in your lane, again, it goes for mid lane and top lane, is by shoving that wave into the enemy tower. Because if I just look bot lane here just quickly, you can see that these minions, this lane isn't going to freeze, by the way, it's actually going to push back into Rekkles, or should do, because now Kai'Sa's back in the lane to CS it. Kai'Sa is going to miss some of that wave, and it also gives you an opportunity, guys, to recall yourself, buy some items, and you can see here how this wave now is actually pushing back into Rekkles. So yes, he could wait, he could chill, he could just last hit and let the wave come into him. That might even be better in this situation because he'll be hitting level 6 kind of soon, and if the lane is longer, yes, it's more effective for Kalista and Galio especially. But the tip here, yes, after killing an enemy champion, if you do need a recall, shove that wave as quickly as you can and get that base off so you're back on the map to match Kai'Sa's timing as well. Now, in terms of timing in this game, guys, I want to point out to you something here. So when Thresh comes in like this, it might be kind of weird, right? Oh my god, Lee Sin's here. How is he here? Well, it's kind of obvious, no? Morgana, if you just look at Morgana for me on the map, she started a blue buff. So it's around 7 minutes in this game now, maybe just a bit beyond 7 minutes. Now, 7 minutes, this is going to help you with your jungle tracking, by the way. If you're playing any role, any champion, it doesn't matter. When 7 minutes rolls around, the enemy buff, the first buff they take, red or blue buff, is going to be respawning, right? So naturally, and most of the time, the enemy jungler is going to be at their first buff ready to take it again, right? Because who doesn't want a free red or blue buff? So Lee Sin in this situation, because he started red, he has his second red buff, and it makes sense. This is why Rekkles is actually ready for this, and this is one of the big differences between players like Rekkles and players in lower elos in terms of the map. So around 7 minutes, that's a really important timing just for the junglers in general. So when Thresh makes this play, it's actually kind of predictable. Yes, Rekkles may have to blow his summoner spell, but still, watch what happens as a result, because he creates that space from Lee Sin, and you can see Lee can't even get onto it, and he just dies for free as a result. So maybe Rekkles even expected this to happen, guys, and actually baited the Lee Sin into doing this, but it's not going to happen if you don't know those timers. And thankfully Morgana comes in, they end up killing the Thresh and the Kai'Sa as well. What happens after this? What is Rekkles going to do? He's going to freeze the wave. No, he's going to hard push, isn't he? That's what we're talking about. That's going to create that lead, guys. And because Rekkles as well, in terms of resources, he's low. In terms of gold, if we look here, he's on 1700. So he needs to bait some recall and buy some items, which is what he ends up doing. But he's not going to do it if he doesn't hard push the wave. Now, Rekkles actually dies after he returns to lane, guys. And when he returns to lane this time, after dying, he's going to show you why it's so important to play towards your back timers, even though he did die. I'm just going to show you here. Rekkles has a shield bow. No one else has a mythic in this game. So even if he didn't die, let's just say he recalled and came back with a shield bow here, this is why backing and playing off your back timers is so important on any champion in the game. Look at the damage he does to Lee Sin. There's no way he survives. If Kai'Sa decides to turn around, if something, if the fight goes south, there's no way Rekkles dies because he's played towards his back timers. And in terms of items, he is the strongest on the map. So this is more of a general tip here. It's not just specific for AD carries. When you're sitting on a major item, guys, especially your mythic, especially in the early game, which is what most of the time is going to dictate how a game goes, make sure you recall, show some respect to that shopkeeper, and get some items under your belt. And what's interesting about this situation, guys, and if you enjoy these type of analyses, by the way, make sure to like the video to let the jizz know. Rekkles can recall here for sure, but he actually stays for a turret plate, again playing towards a back timer, so he gets a zeal and a dagger as well. Now, did he need that turret plate? Not really, but one of the most important ideas, guys, and what high elo players do all the time, is actually matching your time on the map with your opponent. So if Kai'Sa comes back to lane here, guys, Rekkles, because he has a massive lead as well, he wants to be in lane to fight the Kai'Sa. He doesn't want the Kai'Sa getting free minions when he's not there, which is why, and lots of people in low elo do this, he doesn't overextend, he doesn't stay in the lane for an excess amount of turret plates, because first of all, he doesn't need them in terms of gold, right? It's not like these two turret plates here, which he could have got, are going to give him a major item. So he recalls, so when Kai'Sa is back in the lane, he's also back in the lane. So many people overextend for turret plates and, oh my god, I've got to extend my lead. You can extend your lead after you come back with an item advantage, and you can just kill them again, right? Then you create your lead. So what I'm really saying is here, guys, with turret plates, don't get that seduced by them. Yes, okay, if you need 160 gold for a major item in the first 10-15 minutes, yes, okay, stay for that turret plate. But think about matching the enemy champion on the map. And this is what we call tempo, and is honestly one of the biggest, if not the biggest difference between players at this level to everyone else. So if you can incorporate that a bit into your games, don't get that excited about turret plates, you are going to be better off. So after winning bot lane, guys, and getting this turret, and they get a few more kills as well, if you look at the scoreboard, Rekkles is 8-2 now with 118 CS, the most in the game as well. He's going to rotate to the top side of the map. Now, why is this? Well, in terms of getting turrets, guys, the mid lane is the hardest turret to get. But when you win bot lane, if you and your support transition to the top side of the map, the top turret, the top outer tier turret, is the most accessible. That's what you want, because you're going to get gold for getting that turret, and you just extend your lead. It's the most free objective, if you will. So when you win your bot lane, guys, and you have an opportunity to roam around the map, you know, you don't really want to be bot lane anymore because getting that tier 2 turret is going to be a lot harder. Go to the top lane. Tell your top lane, hey bro, I want to come top. I want to get this tower for free. Go bot lane. Tell them to go bot lane in chat. And you should also tell your support that you want to go to top lane as well, so let them know. So don't be afraid of communicating, guys, and don't be afraid of going elsewhere on the map after you win that bot lane. And after Rekkles gets this top turret, guys, where does he go on the map? What is the most accessible objective? Well, it's a mid lane added tier turret, right? Which is why Rekkles and Galio come here. Thankfully, in this elo as well, they already know where to be, the support that is. But in lower elos, guys, your support, your Galio, is going to be lost. He does not know where he is. He probably thinks he's on Howling Abyss as well. So you have to tell him, you have to coordinate with him where to be. Hey bro, I'm looking to go mid lane because I want to get this added tier turret. Come with me. If he doesn't go with you, then it's your job to react to that. But if he does, you can keep being aggressive like Rekkles is here. He ends up killing Thresh. Kai'Sa dies as well as a result of this. And because of that, they end up getting the mid tower as well. So in the space of like 3 minutes, guys, Rekkles gets all of the added tier turrets. He's got a massive gold advantage. Now he has 13 kills. This is the big difference in terms of extending your leads and making the most out of your gold advantage. And because of this, guys, because Rekkles is applying these tips, a few minutes later, his team is able to pick up the Baron, and they now have a gold lead in this game. But again, this doesn't happen if you're not applying these tips. These are crucial, these are essential if you become a great AD carry. Now, just a quick friendly reminder, guys, to check out the Game Weeb website as well. If you want even more in-depth analyses like these ones, that actually go in depth into like champion mechanics and all that stuff, courses, guides made by the best, they are there to help you become one of us. Okay, so join the club, links down below. Now, we're going to watch Rekkles in this fight, guys, and this is going to give you AD carries a chance of not only just staying alive, but also carrying team fights. If I pause it here, look where he is. So the enemy team is down the mid lane here, pressuring the mid turret. His teammates are actually in front of him, and you can see this here. He's not face tanking anything. He is letting his teammates go in first before him, and it may sound so elementary, but so many AD carries in lower elos get caught out at the start of fights, and that is often what decides a fight, if you win or lose it. But Rekkles never ever dies at the start of fights. He very, very rarely gets caught out. This is why he gives himself a chance at carrying. This is why he's so hard just to beat in solo queue, and sometimes it's not about just, you know, putting out as much damage as possible. It's also about not dying and minimizing your risks. And this is why in this fight, he's actually untouched completely by the enemy team, and he ends up picking up a quadra-kill, and if he had a flash, he could have got a penta too. So take this tip with you as well, guys. Do not feel as if there's some sort of, you know, pressure on you to make a play and 1v5 and be crazy. Just chill. Let your teammates tank most of it. Stay alive. You're not going to do damage when you're dead. Now we're going to watch one more fight in this game, guys, and Rekkles is going to pick up a few kills here and win the game pretty much single-handedly. This has been a crazy game because, again, he's been applying the tips we've talked about. But what does he do in this team fight? Well, let's have a look. Again, he's completely untouched because he's standing in the back line. Now, you might tell me, oh my god, he has a Morgana, he has a Shen ultimate, he has a Galio ultimate as well he can play around. First of all, it doesn't matter what your teammates are doing. Your positioning, regardless of your teammates, has to be good. So if we look at Rekkles here in this back line, it's actually very hard for Lee Sin, even if he does get onto him like he just did. If Rekkles teammates weren't there, Rekkles still kills him because he's in such a safe position and Lee Sin has to overextend. So make those enemy champions, guys, overextending. You can see here when Rekkles is trying to kill the Victor, this is the first time really in this game that Rekkles has been able to actually get onto the Victor, because Victor, being high elo himself, is doing the same thing. He's not running in there headbutting the enemy team thinking he has to 1v9 like that. He's staying safe, and by staying alive, you're putting out damage, more cooldowns and all of that stuff, giving yourself a better chance of winning the game. This is why Rekkles will do like 100k damage in games like these, and other ADCs dream of just doing even like 50k damage. So take these tips into your games, guys. Thanks so much for watching as always. Remember to sub and to hit the like button if you enjoyed it. This has been the Jizz, and until tomorrow's video, peace.